Let's be honest, folks, corruption is like that weird smell in your fridge. You know it's there, it's probably making everything else worse. And yet we just keep piling things on top of it, hoping it'll magically go away. From rigged elections to shady backroom deals, it's the unseen tax making life harder for the vast majority of us. It's the termite colonies slowly chewing away at the foundations of our societies. This isn't just a problem for those countries over there, this is a we problem. So the question isn't just how do we solve the problems caused by corruption, but how do we build a world where future generations don't even see it as an option?
Now you might be thinking, honesty for kids? That sounds adorable. But isn't this a bit like teaching toddlers about the dangers of insider trading? And to that, I say, not quite. Look, we teach kids about stranger danger, about not eating things off the floor, about the general concept that fire is not for touching. Why? Because these are foundational lessons for navigating the world safely and responsibly. Honesty? That deserves a spot right up there with don't eat that glitter glue, no matter how sparkly and delicious it looks. We're not talking about dry lectures on morality here, people. Think age-appropriate stories, songs, role-playing games. Make it fun, make it engaging. Hell, make it a catchy jingle they won't be able to get out of their heads. The point is, we need to normalize honesty from the get-go, weave it into the fabric of their understanding of how the world works. All right, so we've got our foundation set. The kids aren't eating glue or accepting bribes from the playground bully for a swing set spot. Excellent. Now, as those kids hit their preteen and teenage years, it's time to level up. We're talking about exploring the real-world implications of dishonesty, about showing them the domino effect it has on communities and entire nations. Think about it. Case studies on historical figures who chose integrity over personal gain. Discussions about current events where corruption rears its ugly head. And let's not forget the internet. We can harness the power of social media to show them inspiring stories of whistleblowers and activists fighting for transparency. Let's make honesty not just a rule, but a badge of honor, a quality they actively want to cultivate as they grow.
Chapter 3. Honesty 303. Leadership and Legacy. Okay, we've walked our honesty-nourished students through kindergarten, high school, and now they're on the verge of adulthood, ready to take on the world. This is where things get really interesting, folks. At the university level, we're not just talking about honesty as a concept. We're talking about it as a core leadership principle. This is where they grapple with ethical dilemmas, where they dissect case studies of corruption in their chosen fields, where they develop the critical thinking skills to navigate the murky waters of power and influence. Let's be real. The real test of integrity doesn't happen in a textbook. It happens when you're faced with a choice, with real consequences. By equipping them with the tools to make ethical decisions, we're not just shaping their individual paths, but the trajectory of entire industries, and dare I say, the future of leadership itself.
Chapter 4, and the honesty Oscar goes to. Okay, stick with me on this one. We love a good awards show, right? The glitz, the glamour, the acceptance speeches that make us weep into our snacks. So why not harness that energy for good? Imagine this. At every level of this honesty education, we celebrate those who embody these values. We're not just talking about good grades here, people, but about those who demonstrate integrity in their actions, who stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. Give them scholarships, grants, public recognition. Make honesty something aspirational, something celebrated, and dare I say, cool. Let's face it, teenagers are much more likely to listen when there's a shiny trophy or a potential scholarship involved.
Chapter 5. Generation Honesty, the future is now. Now imagine this. It's 20 years from now. The kids who started with Honesty 101 are all grown up. They're our teachers, our doctors, our entrepreneurs, our politicians, and they're leading with a different set of values. Ones where honesty isn't just an abstract concept from a textbook, but a lived experience ingrained in their very being. This isn't about some utopian fantasy where corruption magically vanishes overnight. It's about shifting the tides, about changing the game so fundamentally that corruption becomes the exception, not the norm. It's about empowering a generation to say, no, that's not how we do things here. And to those who scoff and say it's impossible, well, I say the only thing more powerful than ingrained corruption is a generation armed with the unwavering belief in a better way.
So let's be the generation that plants the seeds of honesty, that nurtures them with education and celebrates them with recognition. It's a long game, sure, but the payoff? A world where our children and their children inherit a brighter, more equitable future. I'm Dr. Bola Arowolo, and I believe that a world without corruption isn't just a dream, it's a choice. Let's make it happen.